Ushe viewers, welcome to today's episode of Load Shedding, a show that focuses on current affairs pertaining to Africa. Today we shall be focusing on a negative topic. My name is Kees Kibinda. The Nigerian Army accidentally bombed a refugee camp in Rann, Nigeria, along the border with Cameroon. Babagana Malirima, the president of the local Kalabalge government of the Borno state, says that the death toll was as high as 236 people. The raid happened on a Tuesday, whilst humanitarian workers were handing out food to the people in the camp. It is reported that mostly women and children were hit during the raid, or killed during the raid, in a camp that houses between 20 to 40,000 people. 2 days after the erroneous raid, Boko Haram attacked the city Rann, which was forted, and 14 of the militants died, upon which the following day, Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai, came and said that though it was regrettable what happened, the army did act upon credible evidence, as Boko Haram did plan an attack on civilian territory, though it was a few days later. The Boko Haram insurgents started in 2009, and since then 20,000 people have been killed, well, roughly 20,000, and more than 2.6 million people have been displaced. Which leads me to thinking, what is Boko Haram and what are their motives? Now, before we can answer that question, we have to mention the Sokoto Caliphate, which was in what is now northern Nigeria, Niger, and southern Cameroon, until it was captured by the Brits in 1903. Now, ever since then, the local community has been rallying against the Western influence, especially against local government schools with Western mindsets. This is till today fueled by the elite in the region. Bearing that in mind, we fast forward to 2002 to a place called Maiduguri, where a charismatic Muslim leader by the name of Yusuf set up Boko Haram in a camp where basically he had a school and a mosque, and people from within Nigeria and the surrounding countries sent their kids to this school as an alternative to Western education. Now, if this was it, that would be okay. However, that was not the whole ideology alone behind Boko Haram. You see, they wanted to set up an Islamic state, and this school and mosque became a breeding ground to recruit jihadists. By the way, we know the group as Boko Haram, but they actually have an official Arabic name. I failed to pronounce it, but what it translates to is people committed to the propagation of the Prophet's teaching and jihad. So initially Boko Haram was set up as alternative to Western education, but soon in 2009 they launched attacks on government buildings in Maiduguri, Borno state, upon which their leader, Yusuf, was captured and killed, and his body was shown on national television, with Boko Haram being declared dead by the army. However, they regrouped themselves under their new leader, Abu Bakr Shekau. So let's get to the meaning of Boko Haram. Boko means fake, later on it started meaning West, and Haram means not allowed or wrong. So basically, Western mindset is not allowed. So you'd think that really Boko Haram is against people that have this mindset, but it couldn't be further from the truth. You see, people started getting an image of militiamen of the Boko Haram being gunmen on motorbikes, killing people that are policemen, politicians, Christians, and even Muslim clergymen, but of a different Muslim tradition than theirs. Between 2009 and 2014, the attacks had escalated upon many different structures such as churches, police posts, you name it. Even the UN building in Abuja was attacked or bombed. Upon which the government retaliated with a state of emergency in 3 states, namely being Borno, Yobe, and Adamawa, where most of these attacks were being carried out. Now, the fighting or the attacks that Boko Haram carries out are really focused on certain areas because it gets a bit of a tribal tint. You see, most of the fighters of the Boko Haram are of a Kanuri ethnic group, and they're very easily recognizable with the scars on their faces. So, they'll be easily recognized if they fight outside this area. In 2014, Boko Haram was still gaining momentum. They declared themselves a caliphate state and said they had nothing to do with Nigeria. They even pledged themselves an allegiance to IS, which IS accepts. However, the Nigerian army at this point in time starts making huge successes in fighting the Boko Haram, who then proceeds to flee to the Sambisa forest. From the Sambisa forest, Boko Haram was still troublesome. They raided villages in nearby Cameroon where they raped women, plundered villages and recruited boys into their army. And of course, back home in Nigeria, they also captured the schoolgirls, which is now a famous case. Now, I could go on about what is happening in Boko Haram and the successes that are being booked by the coalition, Chad, Niger, Nigeria and Cameroon, in fighting Boko Haram. But let's just spend time on what is the essence as to why this could even have happened in the first place. Though the coalition has been booking advances, I don't think that they will completely eradicate Boko Haram by doing this alone. You see, Boko Haram is merely a symptom, not the root of the problem. Now, I believe that in order for a country to have peace, they must have unity. Simple as that. And I think that that is something that is lacking in present-day Nigeria. Mind you, Nigeria was actually 3 separate countries before it was formed into one by the Brits. So, people that are actually of completely different cultures and beliefs are forced to live together and cooperate as one, whereas before they didn't have to. Furthermore, even though religion is often used as an excuse for fighting, it rarely is the reason. It has to do with a lack of education. People are not educated, so they fear the unknown and fight against it, i.e. fight against the West. Also, they fight against oppression in terms of, having a lack of money. If the livelihoods of these people were to be improved, and it can be done with something as simple as teaching them better farming methods, I think this will go a long way towards creating peace and stability in the country. That was my view on Boko Haram for today. It was the negative aspect. Let me know what you think. Do you think I'm on the right track with what I'm saying, or do you think that Boko Haram should be fought in a different way, or do you think that what they're doing is actually right or justified? Let me know in the box below. You can subscribe to me on YouTube, Facebook, and follow me on Twitter. My name is Kees Kibinda. Till next time. Bye-bye.